Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, thank you for showing up to Fleet Logi 101. I'm Murda Mike, I'm a Skirmish FC, and a Dojo Sensei, and a bunch of other stuff maybe, I don't know. Anyway, today, like I said, we're covering Logi, and the first thing I want to address is, what is Logi? So for an FC, and any null-sec PvPer, Logi truly is the hero of the battlefield. Logi is what keeps the fleet on grid and enables it to punch up class, right? We might go out outnumbered and undergunned, but with Logi we can punch up, kill blingier ships, kill bigger fleets, and outperform the enemy. Logi is critical. You also the protector of the Snowflakes, those specialty ships that augment the entire fleet. You guys keep those guys alive. Things like the FC, like interceptors, links, Hugin pilots that web, things like that. You guys are the heroes of those pilots, enabling them to do their job and augment the entire fleet, and again allowing us to punch up. You're also the anchor, like I said, that lets us stay firmly on grid. Like when we're evenly matched in a big fight, or in prolonged warfare, or in a deep incursion into enemy space, you guys are what the fleet stands on to be able to stay on grid and get back home. So what ships, what mods do we use for Logi? Well, right now you're in one. It's called an Osprey. This is a shield Logi ship. You'll use this ship and implement something that you'll learn about today called the cap chain, enabling the Logi wing, the team members, to supply shield reps throughout the entire battle. Other ships include, let me pull up my fitting and show you, include the T2 variant of the Osprey, which is the Basilisk. This is a T2 ship right here. Looks a lot like the Osprey, but you know, bigger wings. This is a massive Logi ship in terms of its capability. A few of these Basilisks on grid can tank a large amount of DPS and allow a smaller fleet or an evenly matched fleet to stay on grid against a lot of bling and a lot of firepower. Another ship you might fly if we're doing armor reps is the Augur. I know it looks funny because it's simulated, but this is an Augur. This will provide armor reps to your fleet. Another critical ship we use for like omens and anything that's armor tanked. And then you have the T2 variant. The Guardian. Another armor ship, the T2 variant, very, very powerful Logi ship that reps armor tanked ships. Then you have the Minotaur variants that we fly, which we don't do Galente much. We have the Scythe. These types of ships, the Minotaur variants, don't use a cap chain. You will, when you fly these type of ships, it's your responsibility to manage your prop mod and your hardeners and your reps to maintain your cap. This one, luckily, is cap stable, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Then you have, lastly, the Scimitar, which is the T2 variant of the Scythe. As you can see, it is not cap stable, so you will be managing the amount of reps you put on the broadcast, as well as managing your prop mod and your multi-spec. These are the ships we use for Logi, and now the mods are generally shield reppers or armor reppers, remote ones, as well as cap transfers for cap chain. Now, let's go ahead and undock, and I'm going to go over some more things, and then we're going to go out and actually practice some of the stuff that's involved with Logi. So everyone get on the undock. Also, FYI, most of the time in fleets, and honestly, even if the doctrine loadout has something else, a good thing to bring is damage drones, light or medium. Light drones can help the entire fleet haze off fast tackle. They're great for putting on a lot of damage and chasing fast tackle. And the medium drones will help you engage with the fleet on primaries. For Logi, it is a great idea to bring Minotaur drones because they are the fastest and they track really good. So it's always good to have some combat drones so you can get on some of the kill mills, you can help the fleet with DPS, and you can, if you're loading lights, you can help haze off fast tackle that's close to the fleet or the Logi wing. Alright, now, let's go over some of the basic things you need to do just to get set up to fly Logi. I'm going to show you the Logi channel first. Hold on, let me find it. We'll just do Brave Augurs. Alright guys, I'm going to link this in Fleet. Go ahead and join it. Matter of fact, yeah, let's join this. Alright, join that channel right there in Fleet. Just click it and join it. Alright, so one of the first things you'll do, and especially in a massive fleet battle or a large fun roam, if you have enough Logi and enough ships involved, a lot of times the FC is going to tell you to get into a Logi channel. The Logi channel is the foundation of the, let me get this guy out maybe. Is the foundation of setting up cap chains in large fleet environments. So let me explain how this works, right? So in this channel, your cap chain will work off of one up, one down is what it's called. One up, one down. So Kara will be applying cap transfer to Jacob and Mifal, right? Mifal will be applying cap transfer. No, don't anchor up. Don't worry about that. To Kara and Murda Mike. Now it goes on like that. If you see your name, you give the cap transfer to the guy above you and the guy below you in the channel. If you're at the bottom, some Kiwi, right? You will give cap transfer to the guy above you, and then your bottom is the guy at the very top, which disregard him for now. So Jacob. So since you're at the bottom, your cap chains will be this guy above you and the guy at the top of the chat. Now Jacob at the top, if you're at the top of the chat, your cap chain will be the guy under you and then the person at the bottom of the chat. So again, if you're at the top, the person under you, and then the person at the bottom of the chat. That's what we use cap chains for. I mean, the channels for, to easily set up a cap chain. Another thing about this channel, right? This is critical. And don't worry, we're going to go back over cap chains, but just remember that, what I just showed you. Another critical thing about the channel is this. When you die, put a -1 and your ship type in the channel, then leave the channel. Also, when you do this, say your name, -1 ship type on comms. Again, so when you die, you always put -1 your ship type in the channel and leave the channel. That's critical. You must leave the channel. And then you say your name, -1 ship type on comms. The reason why you do this is because as we're fighting a battle, we may lose guys. People may die. As they die and leave the channel, it automatically helps us adjust our cap chain so that we don't have to do anything manual. People die, they leave channel. You can at a glance see your new cap chain buddies, and we can keep the cap chain established, because one thing that kills Logi and will kill entire fleets is when the Logi wing screws up the cap chain or the cap chain falls apart. Once that happens, capacitors will start running out and fleet members will start blowing up left and right because no more reps are being given. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Any questions about the chat channel? Nope. Okay. So another thing that may happen, which actually is very important, and some FCs don't do this, and it's actually pretty important, is to set up a Logi anchor, someone for the Logi wing to anchor on, right? The reason why you do this is because if your Logi is anchored up on a Logi FC, you could say, or a Logi anchor, right? That one anchor can maneuver the entire Logi wing, and his goal will be to keep the Logi wing out of damage at optimal ranges or at range of the main DPS fleet, not intermixed with them, and keep the main DPS fleet in between his Logi wing and the enemy, so that the enemy would have to burn through the main DPS to get to Logi, or shoot through the main DPS to get to Logi. And it puts you at a deeper range, so that they will have to use a different ammo type to apply better to you than what they need to use on the main DPS, which will require them to reload potentially. You know, given our main DPS time to apply even more when they finally decide to switch off Logi. So always try to have one, whether it be a volunteer or the most experienced Logi. If one is not assigned, try to have a Logi anchor. Maybe even ask the SC, hey, could you please assign a Logi anchor, because it's a very powerful tool. Now that you understand the Logi channel, we're going to talk about the watch list, right? So with the watch list, let me add somebody. You right click, fleet, add watch list. Bam, there it is. It's the beginning of your watch list that you're going to build every time you undock in Logi, every time. Right here, I know some of you know, but this is the shield, armor, and hull. So at a glance, you know Jacob's shield, armor, and hull. Who do you want on your watch list? Well, you want the FC, the main FC for the fleet. You want him at the top of your watch list. If you have a Logi anchor, say it's Kara, that person would be second on the watch list. After you add the FC and the Logi anchor, you're going to add what we call snowflakes. Does anybody know what a snowflake is? In the game.
From what I noticed, usually the link pilots.
Yes. So snowflakes.
No. Alt.
No. No, he's right. Snowflakes are, in Murda Mike's terms, any squishy specialty ships, right? So it'll be interceptor pilots, link pilots, your Hugin webs, your Lachesis, those specialty ships that are only like 2 or 3 in the entire fleet, some that are squishy, all that are providing a special service to the fleet. So your interceptor pilot's going to be diving in on the fleet, taking a crap ton of damage and aggro, getting scrams on what the FC's calling. He needs to be taken care of and make sure he catches reps quick, right? Your link boats. Your link boats could literally be the one thing that's letting Logi outperform the enemy's Logi wing. If the link boat goes down, all of a sudden critical mass on the fleet could be lost, and you'll start seeing your friends die left and right. So the link boats are important to keep alive. You know, E-War, things like that. Normally the FC will say, Snowflakes, put an L in fleet, or Snowflakes, put an X in fleet. Anytime you hear the Snowflakes put a something in fleet, as a Logi pilot, your ears should immediately perk up. You should be looking at the fleet chat, and you should start adding those snowflakes to your watch list up under the FC and the Logi anchor or / secondary FC. Very important. So main FC, secondary FC, and Logi anchor, and then snowflakes. All right. Now the last people on this watch list are all the Logi members of the wing. So everybody in the channel. I'm going to show you quickly in this setting how to do that. This will not be how you do it in a big fleet, but Logi will normally X up, or of course they'll all be in your channel, and you start right-clicking them and adding them to your watch list. But for today's purposes, you can go over to your fleet window, go to Alpha, right-click, add squad members to watch list. Now I got everybody. And you can remove Sindler. Please remove Sindler from your watch list. All right, so remember, it's the main FC, the secondary FC, the Logi anchor, the Snowflakes, your links, interceptors, all that stuff, and then your entire Logi team. Now, what do we do with this? Before we get started, we color code everything. Now, your colors can be your colors, however you want to do it. I'm going to show you my type of setup. So my FC will be yellow. My secondary FC or Logi anchor will be orange. My links will be this teal color. So I got 2 links. And then my Logi team will be blue. This is actually an important step. This lets you at a glance know what is getting damaged. Instead of having to remember fleet names, you see yellow taking damage. Oh crap. FC, main FC is taking damage. You see teal going into the red on these bars. Oh crap. Links are getting hit. Same thing with the blues. If you see blues taking damage, now you know the Logi team has been primaried. This is critical information. For example, if the Logi team gets primaried, your main goal is to keep the Logi wing alive. Not the broadcast rep people, the Logi wing, because it doesn't matter how many people are broadcasting reps over here and you're repping, if while you're doing that, the Logi wing is taking the main aggro and they're starting to break, it's time to rep Logi and keep them on the field. Oh, we don't have a... Okay, I'll post the stream link again. Posted here. And in Mumble. And I'm recording, so... yeah. Alright, so everyone understand that about the color coding and how important that is? Somebody say
Do you
yes.
personally keep dead people on watch list?
Say it again.
Do you keep dead people on watch list?
Dead people?
Yep.
No. Yeah, it depends. No, and you should adjust your watch list if you need to. So you talking about the dead Logi people?
Yep.
No. You can take them off. They reship. So if a Logi member dies, they should already have left the Logi channel, -1. Everyone should know because they've communicated. If they reship and come back, they should be joining the Logi channel again, which will adjust the entire cap chain, and at that point you'll add them back to the channel. And if you do come back after a reship, it's good to put like +1 and then your ship type. So everyone knows, hey, we just gained another Logi member. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so and as I'm talking about all this, everyone needs to be doing this stuff. So you should currently, and right now everyone will be blue, of course. So right now everyone should have everybody on the watch list. They should have them color coded to their preferred shield Logi color, and that all should be set up. Now, okay. Now we're going to warp to a safe, and we're going to go ahead and start practically applying some of what I told you.
Warp drive active.
If anyone sees any massive spike, please let me know. We'll get safe. Yeah, remove Sindler. Just a trading alt to give you guys ships. I know it's a lot of information, but I do summarize a lot, and we'll go over things again, and we'll have a Q&A as well. All right. So at this point, everyone should have their watch list set up, correct? Okay. Now, let's go over anchoring real quick. How to anchor. Most of you guys know this, some of this, right? So the first way to anchor is you right-click the FC, Murda Mike. You keep at 1,000. So fleet, anchor up, anchor up. One cycle of prop mod, one cycle of prop mod. To do a one cycle, you just click it and click it again. Turn it on and off. All right, so this is the keep at range anchor. This anchor is used to keep a fleet together. It's used a lot with the DPS wings. This ensures that everyone stays within range of the FC, meaning that the FC can call targets based off his range and normally whatever is in his range will be in the rest of the range fleets because they're anchored at 1,000 on him. That's the and also another thing this anchor does is if I align to something, you guys are essentially almost all the way aligned to it because you're following me at 1,000 and you're pointing at what I'm pointing at, right? The second anchor is orbit, 5K or 10K. Basic distances are 5K or 10K. Everyone anchor up on an orbit, 5K. Orbit anchor 5K, please. So now you'll right click the FC, orbit at 5,000. Everyone, come on. Old Man Winter, everybody. You should be right clicking FC and orbiting at 5K. Now, why do we do this? Does anyone know why we do orbit anchors? Give me one brave volunteer to try to answer why we might do this.
Angular velocity.
Yep, that's one reason. Transversal velocity. So we're in a logi wing. We got some autocannon guys or some arty guys we're fighting. They've primaried the logi wing. One thing we can do is switch to an orbit anchor. This will cause you not to move in a straight line behind me, but instead orbit as I pilot. And everyone's transversals will be different and going up and down and moving around and making it harder for the enemy to hit. A second reason we'll do an orbit anchor is for bomb defense. If you guys are keep that 1,000 on me, we're all super close, tight, and a bombing wing uncloaks and drops bombs on us, people are getting blapped. People are going to get hurt a lot. However, if we're at orbit, 5K or 10K, now we're all spaced out 10 kilometers, moving around. No one's clustered up. So when those bombs come in, they're going to hurt a lot less. And another thing you do when bombs come in, one of the first things you do usually is turn off your prop mod to drop your signature radius if you're using an MWD, which will also, in conjunction with the orbit anchor, causing people to spread out, will drop the DPS of the bombs substantially. Okay, so we've learned how to anchor. Next, who do we lock up to start at the start? Right, you think just warp in, wait for broadcast. Well, based off your skills, you may be able to lock up 5, 6, 7 people, right? It's a good practice to lock up at least 2 snowflakes and your cap chain bros, which you have to lock them up. So once you lock up your 2 cap chain bros, you also lock up 2 random snowflakes. And you could even talk in the Logi channel about who's covering what snowflakes. What word would we use? Just in general, or like as standard. This will enable some of our snowflakes to already have Logi locking them up, and they can immediately apply reps without waiting for a broadcast or having to go through the locking timer, which can be critical if we're being jammed, damped, or they're using like scam res scripts on their damps against us, which happens a lot with Logi. If you already have the link boat locked up and you're damped to craziness on scan res, well, it doesn't matter. The Logi's locked up. You can apply your reps. At least a few of y'all will probably be have them locked up already, repping them, and it'll give time for the rest of the Logi wing to also lock them up and give reps. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Always leave at least two locking slots, 2 to 3 locking slots open though, so that you can actually do your broadcasts. All right. Now we're going to run the cap chain. Everyone, turn your stuff off so I can pretend like I'm teaching people something. Thank you. Everyone, turn your stuff off. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the cap chain. So everyone lock up their guys. Remember, 1 up, 1 down on the chat. 1 up, 1 down. And then initiate your cap transfer. All right. This is a cap chain. The purpose of the cap chain is to feed the entire fleet cap. Basically what we're doing is we're going around in a nice, beautiful, brotherly, sisterly, loving circle, spreading all the cap juice around that we can, right? This allows us to run our reps indefinitely. Never run out of cap, always be able to run reps. This is critical for the fleet, right? Remember, it's your one up, one down. Please verify that your cap chain is right. And it's critical not to mess this up. So important. Now, let's say Murda Mike's getting, matter of fact, Kara, go ahead and broadcast for reps. Broadcast for shield reps. Can someone broadcast for shield, please?
I did.
Oh, okay. See, I just made a mistake. Does anyone not?
Settings filtered.
Yeah. Does anyone not see the broadcast? Okay. So boom, as you can see, we have broadcasted shields. You lock the target up, and you give the shield rep. This is the basics of a cap chain. You could put all your reps on them. We could have 3 reps per ship and have plenty of cap to run all of that. And then we could go into overheat and still have cap to run it. As you can see, your cap's going to just be blinking, going up and down, and it's going to find its stable point and never drop up under the stability point. And we can do this indefinitely. Now, one thing I forgot to cover is the broadcast settings. This is important before you undock. I don't know how much PvP you guys do, but I do a bunch of PvP. You know, one night I'll be the FC on a filament roam. The next night I'm a line member in a 500-man strat out fleet. The next night I'm playing armor or Logi or scout hunter. So when you undock and Logi, always check your settings. You click the hamburger menu in your broadcast, and you go to broadcast settings. You can customize all these colors. See, I do need shield and blue. It is critical that you customize these colors. All you do is go over to the box, you click it, you select a color. The reason why it's critical is because there could be all kinds of stuff going in on this broadcast window. But if you color code the reps, then it's gonna train your mind to like instantly light up when it sees that color. And you'll instantly know somebody needs reps. And you'll be able to decipher that amongst all the other bullcrap that's in the broadcast history. If you're in a shield logi, turn on shield broadcast, turn off armor broadcast. You don't need it. If you're in armor, turn off shield, turn on armor broadcast, right? If you're in DPS, make sure you turn the broadcast off, because that's going to mess your targeting up for your primaries and slow you down. Also, make sure you turn off broadcast target. If you're in a logi, turn off broadcast target, because all that's going to do is make it so hard for you to see your rep broadcast and miss a bunch because you have all those primary broadcasts coming in. It makes sense?
Yep.
That's how you do your settings. Okay. Now, who's talking right now? Who just talked?
Me.
Kara, you're dead. Go ahead and drop the channel. We just lost Kara. Quick. -1 in the chat. Say it on comms and drop the channel. You're supposed to put that in so here, let's teach right here. So don't put it in the fleet chat. Put it in the logi chat, because remember, in fleet you'll have 100, 200 line members kicking the bobo, talking smack, saying all kinds of stuff. That post will get lost within 2 seconds. The logi channel stays clean, so you post it in the logi channel, which you're not in that. Okay, let's get you in there.
Yes, I dropped because you said that if we are out, we have to drop the channel.
Go ahead and join Brave Augurs. There we go. So this just changed the entire cap chain. So hold on, Kara, just stand by. Mifal, you on comms?
Yep.
You're dead, man. You're dead. Go ahead and put -1 and then Osprey in chat and leave the chat channel. The Brave Augurs. Quick, quick, quick. All right, so now everyone needs to adjust their cap chain. So look at the chat, Brave Augurs chat. Look at your up and down and adjust the cap chain. If you're not sending cap to who you need to, send it to the person you need to. So like for me, I need to unlock Mifal, lock up Kara, locking target, applying cap. That's how you handle a death. And we'll go through this multiple times. So everyone should be checking their chat, where their cap bros are in conjunction with their name, locking up the new cap bro buddy, and then shifting the cap chain. All right. Kara's back in. Sorry, I know I messed that up. Kara and some Kiwi, you guys are dead. And I want to see this typed in fleet chat, guys. I want to see the -1, ship type, all that. Kara and Samik are dead. Leave the channel. All right, guys, adjust. See that? I just did it. So I unlocked the guy that died, and I have Old Time and Jacob in my cap chain. Right there. All right, they reshipped. Everyone who left the channel, join back. All right, guys, shift the cap chain. Bam. Y'all see that on my screen too? Let's get this cap chain right. Is anyone not receiving cap from their cap chain, bro? Speak up now, please, or type in.
I'm getting only one.
Kara, you're only getting one?
Yes.
All right. Mifal and Jacob. Mifal and Jacob, you guys should both be sending cap to Kara, correct?
I'm sending to Kara and Murda Mike.
Okay, and Jacob, are you sending to Kara?
Nope. To Alo and some Kiwi.
Yeah, but look at the cap chain channel now. It's changed. See you're placing it?
Yeah, Alo and some. Oh yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
All right, guys. So check. And it's no criticism. We're just learning. And I like to do the applied stuff. I know it's a little slow, but we're learning, right? So right there, that's considered the cap chain broken. So whenever that happens in a fleet, cap chain has broken. The faster we notice the cap chain's broken, the faster we can fix it. If we don't notice it fast enough, we start having cap issues, and our Logi wing might completely fall apart. Then we'd have to take the time to fix the issue, get the cap chain reestablished, and then start putting out reps again. Within that time, we could lose 2 or 3 or 4 battle cruisers. If the fleet comp is already close and it's a close fight, losing those 3 ships could put us under critical mass, and then we could start seeing the whole fleet start to fall, and us not being able to apply enough DPS to get their DPS off the grid. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So that
Yeah, makes sense.
is there any questions about the cap chain right now?
Just an observation.
Go ahead.
The Logi roll is much more difficult than DPS roll.
Oh yeah, especially in the giant fleet. You know, us mainline guys, we're F1. We're just F1 monkeys. You control click and you hit F1. Bam, that's your job's done. And then sometimes you have to right click anchor. But you guys. So another thing about this too, which I was going to get to later, but we're going to go ahead and address this, right? The more experienced you become at Logi, the more discerning you need to be with your broadcasts. When you see a bunch of frigates broadcasting reps, let them die, man. It's not important. You know, unless no one else is broadcasting. Sometimes we get all these little frigates or something broadcasting in, but we're in the heat of a tough battle, and some of our big mainline ships are broadcasting. Those guys have to get reps, because if they go down, we lose DPS. And for all those who don't know, fleet battle is a DPS race. That's all it is. It's nothing but that. There's nothing else to the story. If you talk about tank, you're talking about a DPS race. The tank is to keep DPS on for longer. Time, DPS. If you're talking about E-War, that you're talking about DPS race. The E-War jams off the enemy's DPS, removing the DPS as if the ship got blown up until it's no longer jammed. DPS race. If we're talking about damps, you're damping the enemy ship to where it can't target your friends. DPS removed. Everything's a DPS race. So the quicker Logi is, and the more focused Logi is, the better chance we have to win the DPS race. So you'll see a bunch of broadcasts come in, right? You know the FC just called for smart bombs, or you know that the enemy fleet just got close and they're smart bombing already, getting drones off of them, and you get a flood of broadcasts, and you're gonna have to discern and realize, okay, some of this stuff has to be smart bomb broadcasts. It's not important. There can't be that many primaries, right? So it's things like that. Like the better you get, you need to start. You'll start making some judgment calls and understanding what's a real broadcast and what isn't. You do rep the broadcasts, but if you got like frigates broadcasting, when we got links broadcasting, bump the frigates, rep the links. If we got griffins and interceptors broadcasting while the FC's broadcasting, bump the frigates, rep the FC. So it's like keeping that thought of priority in your head, and understanding that there's newer people in fleet and that they're going to make broadcast mistakes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Yep. And I know I hit that hard, but it's so critical. It's like a mistake that happens in all fleets, and quite often, and it's important to learn about that mistake and how to kind of circumvent it. All right, now any other questions at this point? And then we'll move on to the second section. And please ask questions. Don't be shy, because like questions mean you're learning, and your question might teach somebody else. You know what I mean?
I have two questions.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead with the guy with the two questions. Go ahead. No, your mic's not working if that's one of the questions.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry.
Yep.
One question and one observation, or talk about the locked ships in the cap chain. Could you say something about this, about moving those two further down on the screen so you don't accidentally delock them?
You mean, what do you mean, like these, like this? Like that? Like moving my cap chain bros down?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you can do that. So I don't know if you guys knew that you could do all this stuff, right? But like, I could have my my DPS bros. So normally when you lock something up, it pops up at top, right? Locking up Kara, pops up at the top. It can be a good practice to take your cap chain bros away from that. Keep them down here so you can forget about them. And then when Mafal or Old Man Timer dies, and I lock up a new cap chain, move them down, and let all the broadcasts be up here. Let your cap chain guys be down here. Keep that stuff separated so you can stay focused. And you can at a glance know, okay, I'm clicked on Kara right now, on Mifal, but the broadcast came. I need to be clicked up here. I see the arrows, and now I know I'm not about to send reps to my cap chain. I'm about to send reps to my DPS bro that just broadcasted. That makes sense? If they get up here, say this is a DPS broadcast, Kara. That's my cap chain bro, and this is another DPS. Well, the battle's raging. It's huge. It's hard to focus. I send reps because the guy broadcasted, so I locked him up. But I'm on my cap chain bro. See, I just messed up. I'm not even sending reps to the right person. So by isolating those cap chain bros, it could, at a glance, enable you to be more efficient and maybe catch mistakes that you're about to make. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What was the other question?
It's the question about the distance. If the broadcast is too far away, we just ignore it, yeah?
Yeah, and that's why it's good for. That's why it's good to have a Logi anchor or some type of leader, because like he can kind of, instead of like 5 people having to say that one person could notice that and then say it for everybody, keeping comms clearer and more efficient. Does that make sense? But yeah, if you are trying to spam lock a ship and it's out of range, move to the next broadcast. Get those reps out until that situation can be resolved. You know what I mean? And also be a leader. You know, if no one's talking in the Logi channel, be the leader. Be the guy that steps up. Hey guys, old man is out of range. Lock up Jacob. New Logi primary. Let's go ahead and take charge. Learn the role and then be that guy that Logi loves to fly with. You know what I mean? Next question. Anyone else?
Guess that was mine. Do we always have just one Logi wing, or do we sometimes prepare, let's say, 2 of them to cover the area better?
Normally you'll have one big Logi wing. So the times it's normally split is like when you have T1 and T2 Logi. So the T1s might be off by them in their own thing, and the T2s are in their own thing, or when you have mixed Logi like Skimmy and Bazzy. So the Skimmies will be like their own thing. They might be repping the same broadcast, but they don't do cap chain. You know what I mean? In terms of they don't send cap. So they might be separated or in their own channels. That's a potential time that may happen. And at the same token, maybe not. You might put the Skimmies inside the channel so that you can send them cap and kind of more actively manage the cap chain. So it depends on the FC, it depends on what we're doing. But those are scenarios in which there could be a split Logi setup. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yep. A lot of times people separate T1 and T2 because of the differences in efficiencies and capability. You know, ranges, repping power, things like that. So that's sometimes why they split T1 and T2. All right, and don't worry, I'm gonna have another Q&A session. I'm just getting you guys to interact. That's all. So the last thing we're going to talk about in all this is communication, right? And I can't say this enough. And you guys been on fleets, and every single fleet, somebody takes the gate, somebody does something that everyone knows not to do, right? And one of the things that happens is lack of communication, especially on small gang roams. You have to communicate. Communicating brings home the win, right? So always relay your death on comms and in Logi text chat. Always. -1, ship type, leave the channel. Say it on comms. That way the FC knows I just lost a Bazzy. You know, I just lost 2 Bazzies. Oh crap, I need to get the fleet out of here. We're losing too much Logi. Instead of him thinking that he can take the fight and he doesn't even know his entire Logi wing got wiped because no one ever said anything, right?
Okay, so we should not be saying this in the Logi channel, but shouting. So that
No. So again, normally in a big fleet, there'll be a leader in the Logi. That leader will shout up to the FC.
Okay.
Right? That's how it'll go. Now, if you're in a small gang, if you're in a small setup, of course, you just put it in fleet chat. You probably won't even have a Logi channel. But if we're talking about 300, 400, 500 pilots, yeah, you ain't. I don't know if you're using the HP TAC fight. We had 3,800 people in local. You couldn't type something in fleet without it disappearing instantly, right? That's why we have those channels, and that's why the leaders can shout up. And again, if there's no FC anchor and you have a shout key set up, be the guy. You know, FC, Logi's breaking. FC, we've lost half our Logi. If no one has told them, tell them. Let them know. With your shout key on Mumble. Okay, so like I said, always relay your death on comms and in Logi text chat. And I'm sorry about the comms thing. So a lot of times, let me clarify. In the bigger fleets, you'll be in your own Logi comms on Mumble, right? So that's what I mean about the comms. So that information is going straight to your Logi team on your dedicated Mumble Logi channel that you're in. And if it's in a small gang, it's just going to your entire gang. All right, if you are anchor, be sure to update the main FC as Logi members die. Use the shout key. If you're anchor, you're the one relaying information to the main FC. Not only does he need to know if Logi is dying and when it happens, but he also needs to know if Logi's holding. So a lot of times you might hear FC say, Logi, are we holding? Logi, are we holding? You need to now decide if the reps are actually tanking the damage. And if it's not, you need to tell them that we're breaking. That the Logi wing is failing to be able to keep reps up fast enough to save the members. And that and you'll see, and the FC needs to know that so he can decide whether or not to get the fleet off because we can't tank the damage. Does that make sense?
So does it mean that even if we cannot like keep one target alive, we should immediately notify FC?
No. But if targets are falling left and right and nothing you're trying to rep can survive, that means Logi's breaking.
Okay, so we just have to make our best judgment on how to.
And the more experienced you become in Logi, the more able you'll be to make the judgment. Because you might lose a guy because he's out of place. Like he didn't anchor up. So he's 80 kilometers from the FC, right on top of the enemy fleet, getting blapped at close range with close range ammo. That's why he died. You know, or a guy, you know, there's could be a different mistakes that people make, and it's the reason why they get blapped. But if portions of your fleet are getting alphaed off the field, and your reps are just like their shield is just going down fast as crap, and you don't see any bounce back, and that's happening on multiple members, that means the Logi's breaking. Make sense?
And shortly, it means that Logi cannot hold anything.
Say it again.
So basically, it means that we cannot keep people alive,
Yep.
and FC has to make now some decisions whether we stay, we regroup, or do
Absolutely.
anything else.
And that decision,
Okay.
to give you some perspective, reverts back to what I said earlier. Like all the PvP reverts back to the DPS race, essentially, kind of, right? So now the FC has to decide, can I win the race without Logi? Like with the Logi that I have, it is giving reps, so it is slowing down the kill. Can I outperform the enemy fleet with DPS? So we may take the fight anyway, and we may lose a third of our fleet, but we traded a third of the fleet for all of the enemy fleet because we had enough DPS to, even though we're losing people, to keep up and kill enough of them at the same pace to outperform them with the DPS and blap them off the grid before they can blap us. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So again, if you're the anchor, use the shout key. Tell the FC what's up. I covered the breaking part, and I told you what it means. Okay, now, broadcast on the yellow box. Does anyone know what that means?
Oh yeah, to start repair before the fucking blasts come.
Yeah, so if you're Logi and if you're Logi, you're a Logi member. Remember, you guys' job is to keep the fleet alive, but remember too, you guys are brothers, sisters, and all in between. You guys are a band of warriors. You guys are also here to look out for each other. You guys keep each other alive, right? If you're on a grid and you see a vast majority or a large portion of the enemy fleet yellow boxing you, right? It's time to broadcast. You don't wait for red box. You don't look at your shield and wait for it to fall to broadcast. You broadcast the second you're yellow boxed. So that requires attention. You can't be AFK. You have to be zoomed out with the tactical grid up. You know what I mean? Looking at the enemy fleet,
Okay.
and you'll see if you're zoomed into your ship, not paying attention, kind of blah blah blah. You're not going to see the yellow box. But if you're zoomed out with your camera orientated to the fleet, enemy fleet, you will see a massive amount of yellow box appear. That means you just got primary. The second way you can tell if you got yellow box is on your overview. If you see the enemy and you see 25 freaking yellow boxes blinking on these enemies, that means all those dudes just locked you up or are trying to lock you up. It means it's time to broadcast for reps. The broadcast goes up, the Logi team locks the member up, and they start applying reps right when the enemy is applying damage, or even before the enemy is applying damage, and now the enemy is pouring DPS into this ship that's getting massive amounts of reps from a lot of different ships.
Question.
Go ahead.
What about module staggering? Do you stagger the reps or just blast them out?
Okay, so this has to do with skill, right? So the first thing you do, it depends on the fleet. Like if it's a small engagement, first thing you do is you put a rep on the guy. If it seems like it's not doing too good, you put another rep on the guy. You know what I mean? You manage it like that.
Yep.
So the reason why you do that, like say in a small game format, is because in a small game format, 3 people might end up getting shot, right? And there might be, because of small game, there might be 3 fights on the grid. The main group is over here fighting some Brutix navies, but then you have like 2 destroyers and a fast tackle fighting 3 ships off to the left 30 kilometers away, because that's how small game works. So you want to have extra reppers available to go ahead and rep those guys that are off on their own little engagement, dealing with like the fast tackle or dealing with that link boat that's trying to get off that you need dead. You know what I mean? And you want to have reps available to rep him. In a big fleet, I kind of go with at least 2 reps off the rip on the broadcast. And then as you learn, you'll learn to realize at a glance by looking at the member that's taking the damage, how much damage is really incoming. And if you say, man, it looks like a massive amount of damage, you put all 3 freaking reps on and you overheat them things if you can. You know what I mean? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, kind of.
Clarify so I can try to answer it better.
No, if I see my friend, my Logi friend, beside me getting blasted off by fucking 50 ships.
Oh yeah, if it's by yeah.
Do I keep some reserve or go low?
No. If it's a situation like 50 freaking ships, everybody puts all the reps on and overheats them things. You know what I mean? Like that scenario you just explained is a scenario for max reps overheat. Cool.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, at this point I'm opening up to Q&A. Any Q&A on Logi, please. Please ask questions. I love answering questions. It shows that you learn, and it might teach somebody else.
How does the Logi fleet place themselves in accordance to the rest of the fleet?
Okay, so at your like right here, range 68 kilometers, 66 kilometers, optimal range 27. So we could do reps out to 66, or at least I can, right? But the FC is going to have to understand there's skill differences. And the optimals, we're going to get our best reps. A lot of times we're going to want to be at our optimal, right? But no matter what we do, unless of course the FC has ordered something different, like he wants Logi to just anchor up on him. If you have a Logi anchor that's actually piloting the Logi wing, your goal is to put the enemy DPS. Your goal is to put your friendly DPS in between you and the enemy DPS. So you always want that wall of fire and that wall of ships between you and the enemy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if the FC calls for everyone to anchor, including Logi, then you just anchor up on the FC, on the main FC. Another thing you'll do as a Logi pilot is you need to keep your eyes out for tackle, because they're going to try to slow you down. They're going to try to drive by, scram you. They're going to try to bubble you. So their goal is to drive by, scram you, and slow you down and web you enough to get you separated from the main DPS fleet for 2 reasons. One, so they can blap you. They can send a contingent of forces over to deal with you, or primary you from where they are, or get you out of range of your friendly fleet, so that either A, you're no longer inside your optimals, thus your reps have less effect, or B, you can no longer rep them at all because of the range. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So as if you were playing Logi Anchor, you will be maneuvering to stay in range of the friendly fleet, maneuvering to screen yourself by putting the fleet in between you and the enemy, and maneuvering away from and reporting fast tackle and threats to the Logi. So
Did you just warp off without us? What the fuck?
Oh, I tried to fleet warp.
Cap chain broken!
Warp to the Keep Store. I'm sorry. I thought I flew a fleet warp. My bad. Warp to the Keep Store, guys. Sorry about that. Any other questions? Okay, guys.
There's a question on the chat, but it's quite old. What if someone gets jammed?
If you get jammed, you spam lock and hope that the dang jam breaks.
20 seconds. there is a chance that if you are not wrapping someone, their like capacitor may go to zero, or
Yep.
is it not that crazy?
It depends on the situation. I mean, it shouldn't go zero, no. And it should no, it shouldn't. Now, if you're getting a lot of jams, like back to back, like if they have an entire E-War wing jamming the Logi, yes, that will completely break Logi. And it'll make its efficiency sporadic. Sometimes you have reps, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you have caps, sometimes you won't. So that can be very dangerous. But like if one person gets jammed, it's not that critical of a situation. And remember, that's why I advise that you pack those light drones, and those light drones, because if they're in range of the drones, the entire wing can send out the drones to attack the drive-by scrammer or attack the E-War, and this is a form of hazing. So you can use your drones, the entire drone complement of the fleet, to work as a hazing and screening force for the Logi fleet to get those fast tackle to break off. You might not kill them, but you'll make them burn 60, 70, 80, 120 kilometers away to outrun your drones. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool.
Since you mentioned drones, can I order my own drones, maintenance boss drones, to prep from me?
Yeah, sure, why not?
How to do that?
Oh, you mean actually in the game? That I'm not too sure about
Yeah.
because I don't ever use them.
Okay, yeah, because they are in the drone bay, and recently I was tackled by some ship when getting back and tried to heal myself, and I had no idea how to do that.
You
Yeah,
can't do that because you can't log up yourself.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
Okay, so they are just to help others. Okay.
And also, you can assign drones too, guys. Don't forget that. Like your damaged drones, you could put them on a drone bunny too. You know, if you don't want to manage them, and that can be very useful in a big fleet. I can't remember his name, but there's like two guys. Whenever I'm in a fleet, they always send their drones to me because I'm really good at getting on kill mills and applying DPS. So as long as they put their drones on me, their drones end up attacking all the stuff that I attack, and they end up getting on a lot of kill mills. And it's not just a kill horde technique. It's actually you're applying DPS to a primary, so that's a good thing. Any more questions?
Not for me.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for showing up. You asked great questions, and I feel like you guys learned. Does anyone feel like they benefited from the class or learned something?
I don't.
No, for
Thank you
sure.
for the
What the
class.
fuck?
All right,
Well,
all right, Cara.
thank you.
All right, Kara, you're no longer invited to my classes, but everyone else, thank you. All right, guys, so go out there, have fun, heal people, shoot people. This is the end of the class.
And the handouts, wait, don't go.
Oh, yeah, please trade. I think there's one handout. Please trade that back
Token
to Sindler.
request accepted.
If you got a ship from me, please trade it back to Sindler. After
Thank
that-
you.
Yep. Go ahead and go back to standing, and we're good. Thank you so much.